So you watched my last video and you've decided that a few of those 5 benefits have swayed you and you want to get your first credit card. But where do you go from there? This video is going to go over a couple of things to look out for, as well as give you 2 decent suggestions for your first credit card. So let's get right to it.
None of this is financial advice. If you do need financial advice, then seek a qualified financial advisor.
Now, to start with, everyone is in a different situation, and some situations may mean that getting a credit card is not the right thing for you. If you are struggling financially, I suggest that you don't look to credit cards to try and solve that issue, unless you know what you're doing and you have a plan. Therefore, throughout this video, I will be working under the assumption that you will pay off your credit card bill in full and on time each month. As well as that, I will assume that you are not spending more than you can afford. If you don't fit this description, then this video might not be for you. When talking about credit cards, you'll hear lots of things about APR and high interest rates. But what does this mean? APR stands for annual percentage rate. This is basically the interest that you'll pay on any money you don't pay back. These interest rates tend to be pretty high on credit cards, ranging from 20% up to 50 plus. Throughout this video, I will mention the APR rates of different credit cards, but this is not really having an impact on my decision to recommend it. The reason being, as I mentioned earlier, I'm expecting you to pay it off in full each month, so this doesn't matter really. The same goes for minimum payments, which is just the minimum amount of your balance that you have to pay back each month. I will mention what it is, but I will not expect you to be using it, as again, you should be paying it off in full. Now, a final thing. A lot of credit cards will require you to have a certain monthly or annual income. Normally, this would be a job, if you're working part-time, full-time, etc. But if you rely on money from your parents, family,
I got family,
or even your student loans, then you can put this down as well. Now let's get to the credit cards. The first card is the Capital One Credit Builder card. I have this card, and this was my very first credit card. It's a pretty run-of-the-mill, regular, boring credit card, but it gets the job done. It has a credit limit of between £200 and £1,500. This means depending on how safe they think you are, you'll be offered somewhere between that, probably at the lower end to begin with. Their website states that there are 2 optional credit limit increases per year, so as you go on, you'll have the chance to increase how much you can use. It has 34.9% APR, and the minimum payment is £5 or 2%, whichever one is more. It says on the website that you're not likely to be accepted if you haven't used credit in the UK before. However, myself and my sister have both applied for this card, having not had a credit card before, and were both accepted, so I don't think this is the case. Next is the Tesco Foundation Credit Card. I've recently applied to this and have been accepted, and I'm just waiting on my card being delivered. This makes it my second card, so I can't really say too much about how easy it is to be accepted as your first credit card, but given you pass their criteria of £5,000 a year in income, I think it should still be doable. Remember, you could always put this income down as your student loan income or any financial support you receive from your family. Now, the credit limit is £200 to £1,500 again, and expect to be on the lower end, especially if you haven't had a credit card before. I have had one before, and mine was still only £250, so it's going to be pretty low to begin with. It has a 27.5% APR rate and a minimum payment of £25. It also has a nice perk: Tesco points. For every £4 you spend in Tesco, you get an extra Clubcard point. So that's along with the usual ones you get, which I believe is 1 for every £1 you spend. When spending outside of Tesco, you'll receive 1 Clubcard point for every £8 you spend. So even if you're not shopping in Tesco, you can still be earning money from it. It's not a huge benefit, but over time it will add up. Plus, we all love free stuff. Now, the final one isn't a specific credit card, but it's more of an idea. If you're unable to get accepted onto either of these credit cards, or are unable to find another one which will accept you, then there is this option. Credit cards can have multiple card holders. So this means, providing your parents are happy with it, they could have you added to a credit card in their name. So they could open an account especially for this, or if they have a credit card that they don't really use, you could ask to be added to this, which means you have a chance to improve your credit score and get to use credit while still using their name to actually enable you to do so. This will obviously rely on your parents having good credit scores so they can get a credit card, but it also means you'll have a chance to improve yours. If eligibility checkers are saying you're not likely to get approved for a credit card, then have a look at this video here, which will give you a couple of tips on how to get approved and to improve your credit score.